The words of St. Paul in his letter to the Romans today have a familiarity, I think. I propose we know the emptiness, the darkness of sin, of lawlessness, of impurity, that slavery. We know what that feels like. And we know, too, our aspiration, our desire to be with God, our desire to be redeemed, to be sanctified, to be made holy. And so the tension, the division, the battle, really, that Jesus writes about and speaks about, rather, in the gospel is true. We know that. But we know that as a people of faith, as a people who know and who love, and who are loved by Jesus, that we do not live in despair. We do not live in that tension, that the victory is won by Jesus. And the victory is for us. The saint who we celebrate today, the great Pope John Paul II, spent much, if not all, of his nearly 27 years of being Pope proclaiming that truth, that freedom of Jesus. And that freedom that isn't just for the elite. It's not just for popes or for bishops or for priests or for nuns or monks or religious sisters. But it's for every one of us. It's for you. It's for me. Without exception. That Jesus' promise is for those who are weak, like us. And that he comes bearing victory because it's already won. Because we, as John Paul said so famously and so wonderfully, that resonated and encouraged all who heard, that we are not the sum of our weaknesses and failures, but we are the sum of the Father's love for us and of our real capacity to be the image of his Son Jesus. And it's that truth, that holiness, which is for all of us, that marked his papacy and gives us hope. Because I think the greatest, or one of the greatest temptations that we face today, especially young people, is to hear that voice, perhaps from the evil one, perhaps in their own mind, perhaps from others around them, that say, you're not worth much, that you're weak, that you're a sinner, that those things that you are ashamed of, that that's who you really are. And John Paul II, and Jesus, more importantly and perfectly, says, no, you are beloved. You are the beloved son or daughter of the Father, and that's who you are. And so as we face that temptation, not only to hear but to believe those lies, the truth of Jesus, the truth of the gospel, the truth that John Paul II proclaimed is for us today and always. And we pray that we would hear and know our identity, that we would hear and know the mercy and grace, the belovedness that God gives, that the Father gives to you and to me.